Es bleiben im Raum Keitel, Jodel, Krebs und Butter. Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriff Steiners war ein Befehl! Wer sind Sie, dass Sie es wagen, Sie meinen Befehl zu widersetzen? So weit ist es also gekommen. Der Militär hat mich belogen! Jeder hat mich belogen, sogar die SS! Die gesamte Generalität ist nichts weiter als ein Haufen niederträchtiger, treuloser Feiglinge!
Mein Führer, ich kann nicht zulassen, dass die Soldaten, die für Sie verbringen...
Nicht als Feiglinge! Verreiter, Versager!
Mein Führer, was Sie da sagen, ist ungeheuerlich.
Die Generalität ist das Geschmolz des deutschen Volkes!
This is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're going to be doing the most controversial video we've ever done. Guys, we're going to be revealing Adolf Hitler's personality type. We got some clips. We're going to be listening to the AI translated speech for him. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, we already know what we think his type is. Personality database thinks he's an INFJ, which is very interesting. I mean, you got like this guy who seems to be very pragmatic. I'm not even gonna lie. Ends justify the means. I mean, we're killing Jews. We're doing anything for production. We got Mein Kampf over here talking about my struggle. We got all of that today. So we'll also talk about his main propaganda guy, Joseph Goebbels. He's an INTJ. You know, you see an ENTP, there's probably always an INTJ somewhere close by. I promise you that.
One of the most notorious figures. I guess he was an excrescence on humanity, and thankfully it was dug out.
Man. With most people like his type, the ENTP, they start out very good early on, but the longer they sit in there, the more they get exposed. And I think you can see that through World War II. At first, he was doing very well with his gambits and things of that nature. But when people get used to you, they can kind of watch you kind of self-destruct yourself. Sometimes when I'm like dealing with an ENTP and they get on my fucking nerve, and I'm like, you know, just give it a little bit of time, they'll self-destruct on themselves. They will literally self-destruct on themselves with how much chaos they could bring into their lives and just making the wrong moves. And he's just going to chase possibilities. They're going to make wrong moves here and there.
I think Joseph Stalin's biggest mistake was underestimating him too soon.
Well, I think Joseph Stalin didn't think he was that stupid. His direct quote was, "This man is a risky gambler," is what he said about Adolf Hitler. And that's because he signed a pact with Adolf Hitler just so they can kind of seal their edges, right? They want to seal their edges and not have to fight on two fronts. But, you know, Hitler was just seeing that as an opportunity to strike, right? And he caught Stalin with his pants down. And I think Hitler did a good job of catching a lot of people with their pants down. I mean, he did. Pants down. He caught the first early parts of the war, he was catching everybody with the pants down. Like, you know.
France, Poland, probably Czechoslovakia.
At first he started with Austria, right? He wanted to unify Germany under the same. And then from there, I mean, they had the Treaty of Versailles, so he was under strict limitations of what he could and couldn't do. And he just started saying, okay, fuck it, I'm going to just try something.
Well, even almost immediately after taking power, they had the Reichstag fire, like false flag operation. And then I believe he assumed like special powers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, in essence, like he started the dictatorship early on.
As soon as Hindenburg died, he started taking like dictatorial. He was able to make all rules, and then basically it just got straight Hitler after that. I think they did a great job on propaganda. They just show you the power of propaganda. If like Joseph Goebbels said, lie told 1,000 times becomes the truth.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So that's one thing that you can see there. And I mean, even when the war was lost, this guy was still thinking of possibilities, just playing them in his head like, okay, we're going to push this last bit into France with absolutely no fuel, you know, no nothing. We're still going to try it. And it was working well at first, and then it just flopped when the Allies adjusted to it, and it just flopped, but you can't be doing that with no resources, man. He even at the end of the war, he still was thinking, oh, Steiner's gonna come in and save me, blah blah blah, and then at the end he's like, you guys didn't listen to me the whole time, you guys were obstructing me. He couldn't take any accountability for what he had done, and he basically fucked the German people and
Oh yeah, big time.
set them back probably 60 years, man, being realistically. Germany ain't been the fucking same since that shit. Um,
And now as a nation, they have like all this collective guilt about what happened.
mhm.
So I mean they've come back pretty strong in terms of like their technology and whatnot. I think they're still among the world's best, but yeah, I mean I definitely agree. He set them back a really long time. I
Yeah.
mean Germany was split in half for like fucking 40 years, 45 years.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really unfortunate. Well, I mean everything's unfortunate, but specifically what happened to Germany is pretty unfortunate. So
And I think when he first wrote his book, Mein Kampf, well, I mean, he was basically doing a speech and he had other people write it down, right? And that's
yeah,
he created Mein Kampf.
yeah,
Uh,
that's how it's the same way Malcolm X created his autobiography. He talked and he dictated basically. Someone else wrote it.
yeah, yeah. So it's because I mean, well, he wrote the autobiography is the first half of the book, and then the other part is like his like political views, like with the
Yeah,
Jews and all that type of stuff. I think it's kind of interesting now because a lot of stuff like the wheels and things come back alive. If people aren't aware of it, like wheels never really die. They just lose
but
popularity and they'll come back. And I think I hate to say it, but I think Hitler's will is coming back into the world. You can see what people getting frustrated with Jews yet again, right? You got Israel trying to get people to go to the Holocaust. They're trying to get celebrities to go to the Holocaust because that will start to come back again. I think wills never live or die. They'll just come back around. But we're gonna watch some clips here and we're gonna react to it. We got some interesting stuff here to kind of prove our point that the guy is an ENTP with all that fucking chaos surrounding him. Oh yeah, personality database they have him is INFJ, but he's an ENTP. Even the
and manifesto elements are found in both volumes. But what of that ideology? What exactly did Hitler outline as its key tenets in Mein Kampf? Well, his writing style was pretty rambling, to say the least, and as a reader, you're left to filter out his key recurring ideas from an all-over-the-place roller coaster of, well, diatribe. One key aspect that will probably come as a surprise to absolutely nobody watching.
So the important part of that clip is that Hitler is rambling. He's all over the place, right? So that's showing that this guy's informative and he's initiating, right? That's why he's all over the place. That's why he's writing whatever in Mein Kampf. It's just literally all over the place.
Now, another huge aspect of Hitler's ideas in Mein Kampf is that of social Darwinism.
Yeah, that's also important to notice, guys. INFJs aren't going to be rambling like that because they're direct communication style, and they're not going to be all over the place as well.
And they're not starters; they're finishers. So,
yeah.
David,
Mein Kampf.
follow whatever idea through. So,
and then another thing is that you will see, ENTPs a lot of times have this villain thing where they tell on themselves, right? Hitler wrote Mein Kampf, and then Mein Kampf started doing well, and then the French and stuff tried to use it against him when he was the Führer, and he had to like figure out a way to get that to where they could not use that against him because that's literally everything that he was gonna do in the future with his big ass fucking mouth. Okay, his big ass fucking mouth get him in fucking trouble. That's usually some ENTP shit. They'll just keep talking. They'll tell you the whole fucking plan and everything. The villain at the end of the movie sometimes, like the Joker.
I think he found a way to like flip it though, like like with France and also with Russia to like, oh no, like I didn't mean all that.
Yeah, yeah, that was the any flip. He said
the any flip.
He said that that was him when he was in prison. He no longer things like that. He's a man of peace. But
Yeah.
What he was doing was just trying to buy time. He was just trying to buy time. So it's funny as hell.
I.e. the application of Darwinian principles to human societies. To explain this, he wrote the following. He who would live must fight. He who does not wish to fight in this world where permanent struggle is the law of life has not the right to exist.
So that quote in itself right there is a very SI inferior quote. They believe life is struggling. Like they will always tell you, if you talk to an ENTP, life is struggling, and finding meaning in struggling is literally what life is, right? They believe that, I guess some people call it the god of struggling. I think Hitler said some shit like the god of struggling or something. But that's another point there for SI inferior.
Table. No one was allowed to start eating until Hitler sat down and picked up his fork. Even if the food was getting cold, everyone waited for him. What made these meals unusual wasn't the food, it was how long they lasted. Lunch often stretched on for 2 hours or more. Not because they were enjoying a long meal, but because Hitler liked to talk a lot. Once he started speaking, he didn't...
Well, they just talk about like Hitler would keep people at the dinner table just talking.
Oh, yeah.
Just running his fucking mouth, bro. It's like,
Crazy.
It's like my older brother. Like if I call him, it's so funny. I just do it sometimes to fuck with him. I'll get him riled up, get him going, and then tell him I gotta go. And he'd be like, "Man, you just called me to get me riled up." Like he just wants to keep talking because they want to explore their ideas in their head. A lot of times, and these ideas they just want to throw them out there and hear what somebody else had to say to kind of like bounce it off that, to hear more and more perspectives. But these guys usually have all these ideas, so they just want to talk about them. And if you're stuck with Hitler, you can't really say shit, You say the wrong thing, you could be losing your job, your life, and everything. So people just sat there and had to listen to this motherfucker talk nonstop at dinner. So,
speaking, he didn't stop for a long time. He would go on and on about things that interested him, like buildings, classical music, or the history of ancient Rome. The people sitting with him, his assistants, secretaries, and sometimes guests, barely said a word. They mostly sat there quietly, nodding along, even if they were bored. Nobody dared to interrupt him. In the afternoons, Hitler's daily routine stayed mostly the same, no matter where he was.
So like we're saying there, guys, ENTPs don't know when to shut the fuck up. A lot of times they just do not know when to shut the fuck up. When they get going, they can just go, right?
Hitler didn't go to bed right away. In fact, his day was far from over. Most nights, he stayed up very late, often until 2 or 3 in the morning. During this time, he would sit with a small group of people and talk for hours. These late night talks were...
We're going back to it. Hitler's talking for fucking hours, right? INFJ is direct communication style. They're really not talking for fucking hours. Even his speeches, he talked for hours and hours and hours with like not even losing any energy. Kind of like what's that guy, Tony Robbins? Tony Robbins can talk his ass off too.
Not quiet conversations. They were long speeches where Hitler did almost all the talking. He would go on and on about anything that came to his mind. He talked about ancient German stories and myths, his strong belief in being a vegetarian, and how much he hated smoking. Sometimes he spoke about history, art, or his views on the future of the world. The people...
So there we got some future of the world, art, many different things there.
People sitting with him, usually secretaries and close aides, didn't interrupt. They listened silently while typing out his words as quickly and carefully as they could. These late night speeches were later collected by people close to him, like Henry Picker and...
So if you guys don't know, he does have a collection of all of his talks. You can find those. Just hit the rants here. And this is just a clip of Chris Browm talking about Kanye West here. And I wanted to parallel the two so you guys would see that just randomly going on rants and making other people suffer through it. Things that they can do sometimes. So this is just a short clip of Chris Browm basically not trying to name Kanye, but we all know it's Kanye West here.
No names.
Yeah. Come on.
But
Yeah.
so there was this artist.
Yeah.
And this artist wanted to go out to the club with us. So, huge artist. So I'm like, all right, cool. Meet me at my crib. We're gonna go to the club. It's nigga night. It's turn up night. you know, it's gonna be another artist in there performing, and that artist song was the #1 song in the country. I'm talking about going crazy.
Yeah.
We get in the club. I make sure we got the whole section full of women. So the person in there, he looking around. The song come on. The other artist is on stage. Start singing a song. The whole building erupts. I'm talking about it erupts. Like everybody, girls in our section, they going crazy. I look over to this person.
Oh, he ain't feeling it. Yeah.
I'm talking about not a smirk, not a head nod, nothing. I turn back to look at the artist. By the next time I turn back to look at the person in my section, they gone. I don't see him. I'm like, what this nigga done went? I look up. The nigga is on the DJ booth, right next to the artist that's doing the song. And he just like this. The nigga, when the song goes off, the nigga takes the mic. Takes the mic. So I'm thinking this artist is about to do some songs. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
He got the itch. Like, man,
Yeah.
you know, some artists can't take it, you know, they self-centered or they, you know, they got
to get some of that.
They got main character syndrome. Like, I'm not one of those. I know how to be like, oh, this lit here.
Yeah.
But I can read it all over this person's face. Get the mic. I'm thinking he about to do his songs or do some shit. I'm like, oh, this been crazy.
He's about to go crazy in here, yeah.
The nigga goes on a 45-minute rant. I'm talking about talking. I'm talking about saying all of everything that about nothing. It's like, it's so disappointing. Like when I was in there, I started looking around, and then from the club being everybody turning up, maybe we holler at some girls, what's up? It went from that to looking like the waiting room in hell. That's what I felt like it was. Like, like everybody turned into psychopath people. And he was not saying, you know what I'm saying? The topic of what his rant was about was like, what the fuck? Put the music back on. Like, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
So in that club, there's a secret area. There's like a resting area you can go down at the club. So I told one of the homies, I don't want to sit up here and hear this shit all night. So I'm going downstairs. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna go smoke this blunt downstairs, whatever we doing, boom, boom. And this nigga gonna stop talking sooner or later. So, you know, I'm gonna go back up there afterwards. Yeah. I'm down that motherfucker for about 20 to 30 minutes. And all you still hear is over this last speaker.
It took over the club.
This is how it ended. For me anyway. So I get up back into the section. Half of the girls is gone. Most of the fine girl, they I'm like, man, what the fuck is going on? The last thing I hear, such and such ain't stick they finger in my booty. I don't even play that way. I said, yeah, I'm out this motherfucker.
All right, guys. So just to show, like, man, they just go on rants just randomly, and they just hold everybody else hostage with their fucking rants.
In his later years, talking. Once top dog, Hitler would go on to hold monologues during dinner parties, which could be several hours long, and those attending were obliged to indulge him. The man who was once left out.
Like there's a common pattern with Hitler here, guys, and this one was a really good one for T.I. Parent here. This is T.I. Parent here. And being pragmatic, this quote here.
Not be possible, then, when once read, throw it overboard as useless ballast. Reading is not an end in itself, but a means to an end. He who reads but doesn't discard the useless bits believes that he has acquired knowledge, whereas the truth is that every increase in such knowledge draws him more and more away from real life, until he finally ends up in some sanatorium. Not be possible, then, when once read, throw it overboard as useless.
So that there is just a clip of just T.I. Parent here. When he reads books, he takes the good parts out of that and then throws everything else away. You'll see some ENTPs they aren't the biggest fans of reading because they believe in exploring and using their logic to find patterns and understanding that way. But sometimes they will get curious and they will read a lot of shit as well. Hitler pulled a lot of the swastika stuff from, I want to say, Thomas, what did he pull that from? The classical stuff? Was it?
Well, it's Eastern. I think like Hinduism. I think is where he pulled it from.
Yeah, Hinduism. I think.
Yeah.
I think he pulled a lot of other stuff from.
Well, the whole Aryan mythology kind of is intertwined with Indians because they're like kind of like a proto-Aryan kind of people, something like that. So
yeah, I know he took a lot of stuff from Heraclitus and Socrates.
Yeah.
That type of stuff. There is like some stuff where they were talking about like the social Darwinism,
which is that's Herbert Spencer
and Plato stuff as well. Well, he was basically saying like there's the Greeks and the barbarians. And that's kind of the mindset that Hitler put with his people as well. But you know, as usual, they want to escape. One thing I will say about ENTPs, they do run the risk of being racist towards things that they have experienced in their life, or things that they see a common pattern in.
Racist, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And they can have a certain experience that they will see, and then that will lead them to make these patterns in it, and they'll push it forward.
Yeah.
You'll see that with like Kanye West and his Jewish, thing that he's on right now. He said the Jewish people are basically stopping him from being what he needs to be. You see the same thing with Hitler as well.
And Malcolm X, he called white people the white devil. I think towards the end of his life, he kind of his position evolved a little bit, but yeah, he was very vehement against white people.
I think like if they have a bad experience with people, then it's easier for them to start like trying to justify their thinking on that. We appreciate it. Quite funny. I mean, I think
with the Jewish question, I have this to say. It is a shameful spectacle to see how the whole democratic world is oozing sympathy for the poor, tormented Jewish people, but remains hard-hearted and obdurate when it comes to helping them, which is surely, in view of its attitude, an obvious...
So what he's just basically saying right there is a contradiction with the rest of the world and the Jewish people. Right? That's just a contradiction he picked up there. T.I.
Duty, the arguments that are brought up.
Right, so now we're talking about obvious duty, SI.
As an excuse for not helping them, actually speak for us Germans and Italians. For this is what they say. 1, we, that is the democracies, are not in a position to take in the Jews. Yet in these empires there are not 10 people to the square kilometer, while Germany, with her 135 inhabitants to the square kilometer, is supposed to have room for them. 2, they assure us we cannot take them unless Germany is prepared to allow them a certain amount of capital to bring with them as immigrants. For hundreds of years, Germany was good enough to receive these elements, although they possessed nothing except infectious political and physical diseases. What they possess today...
And that's another thing that ENTPs are good at is they know how to speak and put some FE in there to... get people going. Like when you doing that infectious diseases and all that, you'll see them when they get fired up, they can imbue their language with some FE to get people polarized.
It's very eloquent.
Get very polarized, get people going. You see that with Malcolm X, you see that with Tupac, you see that with Kanye West, you see it.
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, you see it.
Large extent gained at the cost of the less astute German nation by the most reprehensible manipulations. Today, we are merely paying this people what it deserves. When the German nation was, thanks to the inflation instigated and carried through by Jews, deprived of the entire savings which it had accumulated in years of honest work, when the rest of the world took away the German nation's foreign investments, when we were divested of the whole of our colonial possessions, these philanthropic considerations evidently carried little noticeable weight with democratic statesmen. Today, I can only assure these gentlemen that thanks to the brutal education with which the democracies favored us for 15 years, we are completely hardened to all attacks of sentiment. After more than 800,000 children of the...
Talking about hardening of the sentiment there, I would say that's SI inferior. Definitely there.
Nation had died of hunger and undernourishment at the close of the war. We witnessed almost 1 million head of milking cows being driven away from us in accordance with the cruel paragraphs of a dictate which the humane democratic apostles of the world forced upon us as a peace treaty. We witnessed over 1 million German prisoners of war being retained in confinement for no reason at all for a whole year after the war was ended. We witnessed over 1.5 million Germans being torn away from all that they possessed in the territories lying on our frontiers and being whipped out with practically only what they wore on their backs. We had to endure having millions of our fellow countrymen
We had to endure as
torn from us without their consent.
I'm not saying what he's saying is wrong, but it's basically it's all about how we've been victimized.
They a lot of times the ENTPs can have that victim mindset.
We're suffering. We've been victimized.
Yeah. And then they take on the a lot of times they're looking for a mask that fits, and a lot of times it will be the collective, like how people are feeling. They'll tap into those feelings.
Yeah, the FE.
And it can be very dangerous. And I think when if you talk about a Avenger, like somebody who's an Avenger, the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of a movie or a character or anybody who's an Avenger, ENTP.
Oh yeah.
Immediately, that character is most likely ENTP. And when they get on that Avenger mode, you gotta kill them. You have to, because it's just gonna go that like they don't care. They don't care. They just do not flat out care. You just look at your favorite Avenger type characters. I guarantee you like look at Sasuke. I know everybody knows about Sasuke, but he's basically an Avenger, right? It's his duty to bring back the Uchiha clan, right? Just like it is Adolf Hitler's duty to bring back Germany and to give Germany back its pride and to make Germany the greatest country on the planet. My duty. When they get into that, man, it can get real scary.
And without their being afforded the slightest possibility of existence. I could supplement these examples with dozens of the most cruel kind. For this reason, we ask to be spared all sentimental talk. The German nation does not wish its interests to be determined and controlled by any foreign nation, France to the French, England to the English, America to the Americans, and Germany to the Germans. We are resolved to prevent the settlement in our country of a strange people which was capable of snatching for itself all the leading positions in the land, and to oust it, for it is our will to educate our own nation for these leading positions. We have hundreds of thousands of very intelligent children of peasants and of the working classes. We shall have them educated. In fact, we have already begun, and we wish that one day they, and not the representatives of an alien race, may hold the leading positions in the state together with our educated classes. Above all, German culture, as its name alone shows, is German and not Jewish, and therefore its management and care will be entrusted to members of our own nation. If the rest of the world cries out with a hypocritical mien against this barbaric expulsion from Germany of such an irreplaceable and culturally eminently valuable element, we can only be astonished at the conclusions they draw from this situation. For how thankful they must be that we are releasing these precious apostles of culture and placing them at the disposal of the rest of the world. In accordance with their own declarations, they cannot find a single reason to excuse themselves for refusing to receive this most valuable race in their own countries. Nor can I see a reason why the members of this race should be imposed upon the German nation, while in the states, which are so enthusiastic about these splendid people, their settlement should suddenly be refused with every imaginable excuse. I think that the sooner this problem is solved, the better, for Europe cannot settle down until the Jewish question is cleared up. It may very well be possible that sooner or later, an agreement on this problem may be reached in Europe, even between those nations which other.
Does he even go up for oxygen, bro? Like, does he even go up for oxygen?
Yeah. Come up for air.
What I will say though is the Jewish people are always going to find it in a very weird spot when nationalism comes back around, because I think a lot of people have the sentiment that Jewish people are Jewish first and then country second, right?
Yeah.
Nationalist people are 100% their country first. Like for me, even though I'm black, I'm America first. Like that, like I'm America first and then black, right? But with Jewish, sometimes people will have the sentiment that they're Jewish first and then their country second, right? So that's never gonna do well in a time of populism. And it's kind of funny to see the same things that Hitler was saying come back today, because a lot of times people say the same thing, like the Jews own the banks, they own this, but they've always earned the banks, the merchants, and that type of stuff. You'll see that, and you'll see some people say like cultural appropriation. I think Kanye said that. They do cultural appropriation, but whatever, man.
Wise do not so easily come together. The world has sufficient space for settlements, but we must once and for all get rid of the opinion that the Jewish race was only created by God for the purpose of being in a certain percentage a parasite living on the body and the productive work of other nations. The Jewish race will have to adapt itself to sound constructive activity as other nations do, or sooner or later it will succumb to a crisis of an inconceivable magnitude. One thing I should like to say on this day, which may be memorable for others as well as for us Germans, in the course of my life, I have very often been a prophet and have usually been ridiculed for it. During the time of my struggle for power, it was in the first
struggle for power
instance, the Jewish race, which only received my prophecies with laughter when I said
my prophecies so abstract
that I would one day take over the leadership of the state, and with it, that of the whole nation, and that I would then, among many other things, settle the Jewish problem. Their laughter was uproarious, but I think that for some time now, they have been laughing on the other side of their face. Today, I will once...
This guy's ridiculous, bro. Like, hey, bro said, you know, he had his prophecy. People laughing. He ain't laughing no more. Now these guys are ridiculous, man. This guy's ridiculous.
Once more, be a prophet. If the international Jewish financiers in and outside Europe should succeed in plunging the nations once more into a world war, then the result will not be the Bolshevization of the earth and thus the victory of Jewry, but the annihilation of the Jewish race in Europe. The nations are no longer willing to die on the battlefield so that this unstable international race may profiteer from a war or satisfy its Old Testament vengeance.
Yeah. He is ridiculous. That's one thing I will say about Adolf Hitler here. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and put him in there as the ENTP.
Can I just say one thing? I mean,
go for it, T.
He's yeah, I mean, obviously it's a lot of propaganda. The thing is he portrays Jews as just parasitical, but the thing is that Jews were actually contributed to Germany and, you know, brought, you know, European culture broadly. Like they were, you know, it's not like all Jews were bad. A lot of Jews were actually, you know, more productive and contributed more to Germany and other parts of Europe than the people who actually lived in those countries. Like the nationals. So it's, yeah, what he's saying is like it's very false.
Yeah, it's just his experience. I think he's just looking for somebody to scapegoat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the Jewish, I guess because I've watched about 40 hours of like Adolf Hitler, and they said that after World War I, he was going around. And he was, I think before World War I, he was hearing a lot of stuff about Jewish people. And it was just a conspiracy theory. But he took that conspiracy theory and ran with it because he probably saw E patterns. Like it probably looked like, this Jewish people, because they are in a lot of powerful positions because they, you know, take care of themselves and take care of the team. They take care of their people. So, I mean, you're going to see them in the banking and the merchants and all that. They take care of themselves. They take care of them peoples.
But also, like many of like the major thinkers of in Europe in like the 19th and 20th centuries, they were Jews. I mean, a lot of them, and what do you call the anti-Semitism? It goes back way before like World War I or II. I mean, it goes back.
It's even farther. Like it's. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. No one likes Jews in general throughout history. You'll see the Russians try to get rid of them. You'll see the British try to get rid of them. You saw Spain try to get rid of them. You'll see all these countries try to get rid of Jewish people.
109 countries they were expelled from, I believe.
Yeah.
So, and that's from like early, not like World
they were
War
always
I,
the
like
scapegoat.
way before that.
They were always the scapegoat.
But I think it's because they get together and
because they're clannish. They kind of like they stick to they take care of their own. Even like regardless of what country they live in, they take care of their own first. It's like what you're saying before.
By doing that, they can accumulate power.
Yeah.
right? That's how you do things, right? If Thomas is over there and SAR's over there and I'm over there and we're all in different countries, but we're doing good, you know, now we can consolidate our power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Thomas pays for some political figures in his country, and I pay for somebody in my country, you know. Then all of a sudden, we got a lot of power between us. So at the end of the day, money runs the world, and Jewish people stay with money. So it is what it is, man.
I blame the art school. Okay, that's
Well, I think a lot of people say that he's a failed artist. I don't think that's the case. I think people forget that he applied to the highest art school that he possibly could.
Yeah.
He could have probably dumbed it down and went to a lower tier art school.
Yeah, he went to Vienna.
Yeah, he tried to get into Vienna, and he actually passed the first rounds.
Yeah.
They just said they didn't like that he couldn't draw human faces, say he had like no empathy or whatnot, or something
Which
like
is
that.
kind of funny, kind of ironic.
Yeah, and then they told him to look into architecture, and he ended up doing like what was that big thing that he tried to oh shit, what am I doing here? He tried to sell something, I forget, the Russian railroad or something like that. What was it?
I don't know, man.
It's one of them, but he was big on that, and that was like his like pet project.
And the thing is, if he would have stuck out being an artist or architect or whatever, he probably would have been very good at it.
Yeah,
like I'm sure there's many of things he could have done in life that he would have been great at, but you know, he chose what he chose.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, he did what he wanted to do. I think he's Enneagram 3. I think Hitler's Enneagram.
Oh, really?
And the reason why I think he's Enneagram 3 is because even throughout like everything, he was always comparing himself to like Napoleon, Frederick the Great, right? He's got this whole like Hitler thought he was a fucking conqueror, right? He thought he was a conqueror. I mean, he's just waiting for his opportunity. But generally speaking, even when they took over France and went to the museums, he stopped to go and make sure he went to the Napoleonic one. So he thought he was the next coming.
And well,
he did pretty good.
When he was all talking about like his prophecies and all that, it kind of made me think like throughout history, I'm willing to bet that like it's intuitive people who believe that they're prophets.
Yeah,
and it's intuitive. Throughout history, it's intuitive people who think that they're special because they're intuitives, but they didn't realize that they were intuitives.
Yeah, I mean, it's that, you know, that 3W4, you know, I'm special.
Yeah,
I'm better than everybody else. You know, I got this chip on my shoulder. I gotta prove it. You know, it kind of leads to that. And you know, I mean, he wrote it all out what he was going to do in Mein Kampf. He literally wrote it out. Like he said, he was going to expand in the East by taking the land and making it for the German people to get resources. He laid all that shit out in his fucking book, like crazy.
Crazy that he stuck with the plan. That's what's surprising.
Yeah, I mean, to me, although I hate to say it, but I did admire Adolf Hitler as a kid because it was just this one guy who was able to convince an entire country. Like, you just don't, like, that's special. I don't care.
Oh, it's insane what he did.
Like, it's special what he was able to do. I think if he would have just stopped at uniting Germany after like he took Austria and all that, he'd have been one of the greatest people of all time.
Oh, if he didn't, all that stuff that happened, like when he started World War II and started like putting Jews in concentration camps. If he died before all that happened, he would be considered like one of the greatest like political like leaders of all time.
Yeah,
it's like
but he just kept ranching it up. He couldn't.
Oh yeah,
he couldn't have enough. Like he couldn't satisfy his appetite. After
it's so irrational.
Nothing could satiate him, and I mean, he would just gasconate himself as a prophet, and as you guys were saying, I mean,
he started.
Yeah, he was drinking. He was sipping on his own Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
he was drunk on his own Kool-Aid.
Yeah, but that's the risk that I think a lot of people who are like that are, And the worst thing you could do is you get to a point where you got an echo chamber of people around you, right? And then they're just telling you what you want to hear, and that's really where your downfall comes in, right?
But I don't think he wasn't willing to listen to anybody though. With his TI parent TE critic, he wasn't going to listen to anybody.
Yeah.
No.
He wouldn't listen to his generals. Like, if he was a TE user, he would have listened to his general.
He told them not to retreat. Bro, what is you talking about? Like, I am not losing all my fucking resources. Like, what's wrong with you? He told them not to retreat. Like, bro, what
Idiot.
What is you doing? Like,
freaking stupid.
And then he gets any pipe dream, where he was like, oh, outside of Moscow, and then all of a sudden tried to go to Stalingrad for the resources. I'm like, bro, what? Or just like his networking of like how like the hierarchy, and this motherfucker would sleep in. But what the fuck you doing sleeping in? Tell people not to bother you till noon. You sleeping in, and you have no clear hierarchy. So on D-Day, no one woke him up to tell him like, yo, we need these Panzer units over here. They were scared to wake him up. And because he had no hierarchy, like the only person that could give that message was the Führer. So they're sitting around waiting for him. Like, bro, what are you doing, man? Like that's just like, what are you doing, man? It's crazy, man. Just crazy, man. Like you're gonna lose that way, bro. You're gonna lose. I do think he's double D by the end of like when he becomes chancellor. I think when he first went, he was creative when he was trying to do the art school stuff. But then once he started to go into like World War I, I think his brain wiring started to change. And then by the time he was chancellor, I do think he was double D. I do think Adolf Hitler's prodigy level.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what
Maybe put phase 1 C2 and then phase 2's double D.
Yeah.
You think he was C2?
I think at first he was probably CD. Okay. And then I think he flipped all the way over to, double D by the end. But that just shows like
because
based off your career, your wiring will change quite a bit.
Because he had the art school phase, and then World War I happened, and then he went and joined the war for Germany, and then you figure over the next 10 years or so, like he became more and more dominant.
Mm-hmm. To the point that he was overriding generals with no experience. Bro, it took his generals a while to figure out that he didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. They figured out that he was incompetent. But it's too late by that time. Because a lot of early in the war, what he was saying was working, right? But like I say, give it some time and you will just see them like unwind and blow up. When that blitzkrieg, lightning warfare, it was working really well. But he just kept reaching. Like he had a pact with the Soviets, where it was a non-aggression pact, and I mean he caught Stalin with his pants down. But you going all or nothing on that? That's all or nothing. That is an all or nothing mission. Like you either gonna, take Moscow or you're not, or you basically gonna lose the war. But
yeah, he really shit the bed on that one.
Yeah, and I mean, Stalin was just waiting for someone to get weak, and then he was gonna push. That's what he wanted. Stalin was just waiting for somebody to get weak, and then he was gonna push. So if Russia would have started getting beat up by Britain or something, then Stalin could have pushed and took Germany. So that's why they were saying like that was a pact that was like bullshit. But Hitler has no pacts in general. Like it's just a pact for the moment.
I think part of the pact, which I think it was the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, I think part of it was carving up Poland, though. That they were they were going to split Poland in half, basically.
Yeah, they did.
That was part of the piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he tried to avoid a two front war, but it just, even when he invaded Poland, he did not expect the British and the France to war. He did not expect that. He thought that they would just let him do it because he had just did that with Auschwitz, and they just like, oh, okay, well,
because Yeah.
Don't do it again. Don't do it again, Hitler. So he didn't anticipate that they would go to war over that. But and it cost him because he was resting on the sentiments of World War I being so bad that people really didn't want to get back into another war.
Yeah, for sure.
So he was gonna push it. He was gonna push. He's gonna push it, and then slowly but surely. But like I said, I mean, what he did with that lightning warfare was pretty awesome. They showed a lot of stuff of like if you follow ENTP, they can show you some unorthodox things that do work and revolutionize warfare. Because World War I was trench warfare. World War II is not trench warfare.
Yeah, it's completely different war.
And Hitler was on people's ass early in. He was on their ass. And I think personally that they never could have actually won the war just because Germany gets too many resources from other people. Like, you need to be able to be self-sustainable if you're going to be powering those tanks and those Panthers and those Tiger tanks and stuff like that. You need to be able to, have your own resources. And I don't think they actually had a lot of that. And that's the reason why Hitler was, like, taking over shit, He was taking over shit to get resources and stuff. But I just, don't think he was going to be able to win, especially with picking people like Assolini. Like, bro, Assolini. Like, Mussolini was ass, bro.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, bro. He's fucking dude. Italy was losing to Greece.
Yeah, they sucked.
And then the Germans had to send 30,000 of his troops. He wanted to actually invade Russia in March.
Okay.
But because Assolini got beat up down there, he said that looks terrible. So then he delayed his.
He delayed, yeah.
He delayed it. And he sent 30,000 of his troops to help them go take Greece and stuff.
Crazy.
But you got to make sure you get the right people on your team. I don't think the Japanese was a good one either, because then they ended up signing a pact with Russia too, right? If you could have had Germany attacking Russia and the Japanese attacking Russia from the other side, Russia would be in trouble. But
they had an alliance with Japan, but what did they really get from the alliance? It's like
they didn't get nothing. But I'm just saying, Russia signed a pact with the Japanese, Russian pact.
Yeah.
They basically did the same thing that Hitler did to them, and then he was mad that they did it to him. It's funny as hell. Because when the Japanese was attacking Russia, Hitler signed a non-pact with Russia. And then they were like, what the fuck? And then he did the same thing to him. He was like, why did they do that?
But one thing I've always said about like World War II is it doesn't seem like Hitler really had like an end game. Like at what point does this end? Like where do you draw the line? Like even if he did beat Russia, well, where does it end? I mean, or if let's say he took Moscow, he's still gonna have to keep fighting the Russians. It's like, yeah, I just. Like with the Allies, there was a clear end game in terms of what they wanted or needed to accomplish. In terms of defeating Germany and Italy and Japan and all that. With him, I don't really see that.
Yeah.